Hey everyone, Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going on an amazing adventure to Reis Magos Fort in Goa. This isn't just another old building. It's a place full of history, bravery and secret that you won't find anywhere. So let's grab our explorer hat and dive in. Are you ready? Let's go. Here is something spooky, the death hole. Look up as you walk in. You see that small hole in the roof? Back in the day, if enemy broke through the gate, soldiers would pour hot oil or dropped fireball right through it. Imagine the heat and screams. That's how they defended this place. It's a tiny detail, but see how tough the fighters were. The hole is still there, a silent reminder of the past. Okay, let's start with the basics. Reis Magos Fort wasn't always this big and strong. Way back in 1493, the Adil Shahi Sultanate of Bijapur built a tiny military outpost here. It was just a small watchtower on this hill, but in 1551 the Portuguese took over Bardez and turned it into a real fort to protect their new land. They picked up this spot because the Mandavi river gets super narrow here, perfect for keeping enemies away. Over a period of time, they made it bigger. The big rebuild happened in 1707 under Viceroy Caetano de Melo y Castro. You can see the thick laterite stone walls. They are reddish brown and super strong, made from local rocks. These are four corners with little watchtower, also called as bastions, where soldiers stood with cannons. It's like a giant puzzle of history. This fort has seen a lot. At first, it was a fancy welcome spot for Portuguese viceroys and important people coming from Lisbon. They stayed here before heading to Old Goa, which we also call Goa Vella. Then in 1700, it became a key fighter during war with Marathas. The Marathas tried hard to take it, but they never could. Those walls were too strong. Later, from 1798 to 1813, the British used it for their soldiers when they took it over for a bit. After that, it turned into a prison. Until 1993, it had thieves, convicts, and even freedom fighters during Goa's fight for freedom. Today, it's a cultural center, but you can still feel the past in every corner. Let's honor the brave Goan freedom fighters who were locked up here, right at Reis Magos Fort, during the 1950s and early 1960s. When Goa was fighting to break free from Portuguese rule, these heroes sacrificed everything for this soil, and their stories will leave you inspired. We'll talk about who they were, how they fought for Goa, and why they ended up in this prison. Let's start. Mark Agostino Fernandez was imprisoned in Reis Magos Fort in 1954 and remained there for approximately 4 years until around 1958. Mark was a young and a passionate freedom fighter from Goa who joined the Goa liberation movement to lead Portuguese rule. In 1954, he participated in a mass satyagraha alongside other activists including Bali Narayan Korgaonkar. During the protest, he marched through the streets chanting slogans like Bharat Mata Ki Jai and Amche Goy Amka Jai to demand freedom for Goa. His bold action caught the attention of the Portuguese authorities, who saw him as a threat to their control. The Portuguese accused Mark Fernandes for participating in an illegal protest and inciting rebellion against their government. His involvement in 1954 Satyagraha, which disrupted Portuguese authority and inspired others to join the freedom struggle, was labeled as crime. He was arrested, brutally beaten, and sentenced to 4 years in Reis Magos fort, where he endured harsh prison conditions. Despite the suffering, his resolve remained strong, and he later continued his contribution to Goa's freedom. Our next hero is Narayan Hari Naik, was imprisoned in Reis Magos fort around 1955, though exact date and duration are less clear due to limited record. He was likely held for a short period before being sent to exile in Portugal or Angola. Narayan Hari Naik was a crazy revolutionary from Goa who believed that peaceful protests weren't enough to drive out the Portuguese. He joined the Azad Gomantak Dal, a group that used armed resistance to challenge a colonial rule. Naik helped plan and carry out attacks on Portuguese establishments such as police outposts and government offices to disrupt their control and gather resources for the freedom movement. His bold action made him target for the Portuguese authorities. The Portuguese authorities accused Narayan Hari Naik of leading armed attack including an assault on Mapsa outpost to steal weapons and funds. These acts were considered the act of terrorism by the colonial regiment. After his capture around 1955, he was imprisoned in Reis Magos fort before being sent to exile in Portugal or Angola, where he faced further hardship. His efforts shook the Portuguese regime and inspired others to join the fight. We must never forget Sudha Madhav Joshi, popularly known as Sudhatai, was imprisoned in Reis Magos fort in 1955 and she was sentenced to 10 years, though exact release dates vary in records. Sudhatai from Mardol in Fonda, Goa, was a courageous woman who joined the Goa liberation movement to free her homeland from Portuguese rule. Inspired by India's independence, she took part in a public protest in 1955 at Mapsa Garden Square. She proudly carried the Indian flag as a symbol of defense to rally Goa against the Portuguese, who banned such act to maintain their grip on the region. The Portuguese charged Sudhatai with attempting to entice the public population to commit crime against the Portuguese government. Her act of carrying the Indian flag during the 1955 protest was seen as a rebellious move that could spark widespread resistance. She was arrested and her political rights were stripped off for 20 years and she was sentenced 10 years in Reis Magos fort, where she faced harsh conditions, but she remained committed to Goa's freedom. By 1993, this fort was falling apart. No one used it and the walls were crumbling. But in 2008, things changed. The Goa Congress government teamed up with Intact and a Helen Hamlin Trust from UK to fix it. Architecture Gerard de Cunha led the work and he finished it by 2012. They used the local laterite stone to match the old walls and added eco-friendly stuff like rainwater tank and solar panel. Inside they kept the old cannon Some are over 300 years old, and the gun loops, the small windows where soldiers aimed. They also built a spiral staircase, super pretty with smooth step to reach the top. Now it's a cultural center with Mario Miranda gallery, full of his funny cartoons. But guess what? The lower levels aren't fully fixed yet. There is still dust and old rooms down there. Might have more secrets to find. Okay, here's something big surprise. Most people talk about Death Hole or the art gallery, but I found something super rare on internet. Deep under the fort there might be a hidden tunnel system. Old record hint that the Portuguese built secret passages to move soldiers or even get supplies during the sieges. Even locals say these tunnels connected to Mandavi River or even the Reis Magos church which is nearby. The restoration team might have sealed them off to keep the fort safe, but some old time people whisper they heard the echoes or saw even the entrance blocked. No one explored them fully. Could they hold old weapons or letter from freedom fighters? What do you think is down there? Okay, let's look closer at some cool stuff. Check out this cannon. It's heavy and has a tiny carving from 1700, like little cross scratched by the soldier. Over there, you see that cracked wall? It is from the Marathas cannonball that almost broke through. The fort has 33 gun loops, small hole facing the river for shooting the invaders. There is also a tiny chapel inside with a faded painting of saints on the wall, and the well that once gave a fresh water to soldiers. Also, during a plague outbreak in Portuguese time, sick people were quarantined here. They drank water from the fort's well, believing it had a magical healing power. With the faith in their heart, many were healed, and the fort became a beacon of hope. As you walk this ancient stone, imagine the miraculous story that bubbled up from that special well, and from top you get stunning view of Panjim across the river and the Arabian Sea in the distance. It's like a time machine taking us back. Wow, what a journey! Reis Magos Fort started as a small outpost in 1493, grew under the Portuguese in 1551 and 1707, fought off Marathas, housed viceroys, and became a prison for our heroes. The restoration from 2008 to 2012 brought it back to life, but the lower levels and the hidden tunnel still hide the secrets. That death hole, a fairy defense trick, the place is more than a fort. It's a piece of Goa's soul. If you loved this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell in comment section what secrets you want me to uncover next. See you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Om Namah Shivaya.